Yo, it's me again. Oh man, where did time go? Half the year's already gone by and I don't know where it went. um, okay, let's start off. First, the video you're watching right now isn't the one I wanted to post. This isn't the video I was tweeting about that I was saying it's like killing me to edit or put together. And postpone that video for now because I feel like this video you're watching now is necessary. Like I need a place to vent. um, yeah, that video I postponed. Um, it was it was supposed to be on diss track season, and that happened from like for starting of August to the end of August, and there was a lot of videos that got posted. And um, where am I going with this? um, I want to include like there's certain scenes I want to include in the because I'm commenting on what happened, so I need to get all the clips in order and then comment on it and then put the video up. But there's a lot of videos going up because I'm doing them in sections. I'm not going to do like a feature length film. No one's going to watch it for that long. So I've got in total, it's like if it was, I'm not doing one video like I said. I'm splitting it up into about, I have to think because I didn't, okay, let's say roughly 10 videos, okay? I took diss track season and I cut it up into like 10 videos, and you're gonna hear my opinion on it because like I feel like I need to weigh in on it. But it's gonna be late. I want it to be like right near the end of when it like but like before upload and after after diss track season ended, right? Because that people are gonna be buzzing about diss tracks, and then they're gonna be buzzing about upload, and then I don't know what they're gonna buzz about after, but the video's gonna go up after. I aimed to get it done for August 30th, and then that got changed to the 7th, then that got changed to the 9th, then it got changed, and like now I can't. I don't want to set a date because um, it's not gonna get out if I set a date. So yeah, you have to watch out for when that comes out, but I don't know when because September started, and of course school started back, and this year's more chaotic than ever. Like I don't even know how to like where how to describe or where to begin because like it's unlike all in like the last 2 years of uni so far. Like it's drastically different, and I'm like right now I'm gonna vent to you about school. Oh man, yeah, school started back for me on Thursday. Well, last Thursday. What's today? Today's Thursday, right? Yo, time's going by so fast. I don't even know what the day of the week is. Yeah, so school started last Thursday. And what? Okay, I need to complain. Okay, so right, like the first day of school is when everything opens and they tell you when to get books and stuff. But I wish they tell you like a week, like in a week before or a week. Like so I get my books in time before I get to school. So, lucky for me, I only have 3 textbooks, but they're all expensive. So what the hell? Um, who was I going with this? Oh, textbooks. Okay. Yeah. So, my head's clearly not working. Yeah. So that first week, I don't know why, but for books, they know people are gonna be searching for books that first week, and for whatever reason, when you go to the bookstore, it's always on back order or the shelves are like clean, like there's nothing there. So when you go there, you're already in like panic mode because you're like, I'm already behind on all the readings. And I was like, shit, okay, so like that, like first thing I'm stressed about, which I shouldn't be, right? It's just reading, it's all the technical stuff. So I'm stressed about that. So um, then there's another thing about like how the profs are like how like when you go online and then you look up your profs and then like you do all like that background search just to see like how qualified they are for the thing, what they look like. in the reviews and stuff. So, you know, I look at the reviews and I've heard some things, and, you know, word around the streets been like buzzing around, so they're not good things, okay? So, I went in, so, okay, let me, like, clear up my schedule first. I have 2.5 classes on Thursday, the other half of the class on Thursday, on Friday, one class on Monday, and another class on Wednesday. So basically, I'm like at school all week, which I was trying to avoid. So the schedule this year is so messed up. That's pissing me off. Yeah, Thursdays are terrible. The only day I get off is Tuesday, and I wanted Tuesday, Wednesday, but that's out the window. So yeah, let's start off with Thursday. So Thursday, I have my photography class. Then I have like a media class. It's like an essay class where you discuss the impact of media on society. And then in the afternoon, the half class is my videography class. So, you know, I'm gonna go through what happened since last Thursday to this Thursday. I'm gonna give you my whole feedback on like the first week, because I don't know how I'm feeling. It was just weird. Okay, so we're backtracking to Thursday. So my first class starts at 9:50 in the morning. So that's my photography class, and I didn't hear very good things about the photography. I'm gonna call her photography. It's a long ass name for the class, but I'm gonna call it photography. Yeah, I heard bad things about not bad things. I didn't hear not so good things about the prof. So I went in there. Okay, hold on. I didn't go in there. Hold on. Okay, I get to school, and for some reason, I should check out where the rooms are ahead of time, but I never do because I'm so stupid. But before, like, okay, the room's like on the 3rd floor. So I get to the 3rd floor, and I'm like, okay, like, some of the rooms have like letters on them, right? So it'll be like, I don't know, like 300A or like 310A or something like that, right? Or 310C, D, you know, like like there's room numbers, and then there's lettered room numbers, which I didn't notice. It's I'm in my 30, and I didn't know there were lettered rooms. So I'm in one of the 300 rooms, and I keep passing by the lettered rooms, but I can't find the one without the letter, and I keep circling around the place, and I can't find it. And I didn't, I keep circling, and I passed this lady, right? I didn't know who she was. I just passed by her. She looked like she was busy, so I didn't want to ask her where it was. So then I go by the elevator because it's right by the stairs, and I see some students from my program, or at least I recognize them, but they probably don't have my class, or else they'd be in the class because I was close to being late. So I go up to them and ask them, I'm like, do you know where this classroom is? Because I'm like panicking. I just did like a circuit or a relay around the floor so many times. I probably left like foot marks everywhere. But yeah, they told me they saw students down that side of the hallway. And I was like, okay. And like, I just came from there, and I don't know where these students are disappearing to, but we gotta go find where they're going. So then I start walking past, and I go past the lettered rooms, right? Because it's not the number. I see the letters again. And I was like, oh. So then one of the lettered rooms, it's like I don't want to say a hallway, or like a closet, but it's like you go into it's like dark. So you go into it. It's a what am I doing? Okay. I can't explain things properly. Okay, so the room I was looking for is a room within a room. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I had to go within the lettered room and then turn to find the unlettered room. And then I'm like, okay, once I get in there, I was like, all the seats like are filled. I'm like, nobody wants to sit near the front or right by the screen. And I was like, shit, I'm going to be sitting right in the front where she can breathe, like where the prof can breathe on me. So I'm panicking, and then I see my friend, and I was like, okay. And then I told her my whole adventure about running around the place. I should have just texted her. I'm so stupid. But I didn't know she was, like, that wasn't the first thing on my mind, that she was in the class. Like, I knew she was in the class, but, like, it wasn't the first thing that struck me. So I get into class, I'm explaining all this to her, and then she's talking to another girl beside her, and I recognize this girl. And from first year, like I've seen this girl around, but I've never talked to her, and I've had some classes with her, and I know she's a what's the word? Like she's a very I don't know how to explain it. Like she's a like she's not a slacker student. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like she does her work. She's like I could get along with her, but I don't know why I've never talked to her. So my friend's introducing me to her, and we're chatting and everything, and then the prof walks in, and then my face when I looked at this woman, I was like, she's the same lady I passed in the hall. I don't know how many times I passed her, but I know I passed her at least once, and I was like, okay, she's the prof. I don't know if she got any impression of me already off the bat. So, things I have to say about her. Okay. There's a few things I want to say. First off, I've already had 2 classes with her. I'm not counting the labs, okay? I'm counting actual classes. Like it's second week right now, so I'm counting like I've been there twice. So I don't know how I feel about her yet. I don't know how I'm going to feel about her. Like today, like this morning, like my impression of her is way better than last week. Okay, first off, she's an older woman, so right off the bat, my impression is she's gonna teach us very like old school type of stuff. She's not gonna teach us modern stuff. So, like, you probably want me to further explain that, but I'll get to it. Yeah, so I assume she was older. The room in general I don't like. So this room, how it's set up, there's like a room, like, okay, I had to go within a room to get to this room, and then within that room is another room where she keeps, or I don't know if she keeps stuff there, but she pulled out this giant whiteboard, right? And she gets out her marker, and she's writing her name, and this is like my first terrible impression of her. She wrote her name. You know, like if you're gonna write your name, you're gonna write it in all caps, or you write it like the first letter in caps, and everything else is small. So she mixed the letters. She did caps and then like lowercase letters, and that threw me off. I was like, this looks like a serial killer. I'm sorry, but it does. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, she better not, like, if she's writing notes on the board, it better not look like that. So then I was like, okay. That's what, like, I'm not gonna hold that against her, right? Like, there could be worse things. But that just threw me off. Oh, it was a while back. I'm trying to backtrack. I should have, yeah, so I'm sitting right in front of her. I'm trying not to make contact with her. I don't make eye contact with anybody because, yeah, I'm not explaining that. So, she starts up her PowerPoint, right? And I'm looking at this PowerPoint, and it's highly technical, and I could already tell she's old school because, or like, it's a photography class, and what I hate about these photography classes is that they always go over the same technical stuff. And we have to keep going over these classes because no one ever gets it the first time because they're never taught properly. So she's going over all this technical stuff, and I know she's an older woman because she went over like the whole pinhole cameras and like those giant cameras, like, you know, like old school. She went all the way back. And she talked about film cameras and dark rooms and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, I understand that, but can you get to like what I have to do now? So, like, I'm not holding that against her either. Those are just 2 things that bothered me. But, yeah, now we're looking at the slides, and she went through a lot of slides, okay? Like, I was sitting there for a good while, and I was like, my ass is starting to hurt. Like, I can't sit any longer, and my knees are, like, hurting. I can't sit and listen through this because I feel so uncomfortable. But she finally gets through, like, about 30 or 40 slides. And then she says, she's not going to post them until next Tuesday. So if a lot of the slides had like assignment stuff written on it, so stuff I needed to like, it's okay, this slide, you know how they tell you when you make slides to like, you need a lot of white space so then people aren't overwhelmed by the words. But these slides, it was just basically words. I didn't have time to copy down everything that was on the slides, and I didn't even bother to because I know I wasn't going to be able to. And this woman doesn't she waits to tell us that she's not posting the slides until next Tuesday, and I was like, great, like, how am I going to work on the friggin' assignment until, you know, I'm wasting all that time because I can't work on it, so, yeah, but I don't blame her because she said she's teaching another section of the class, and it's on Tuesdays, and she said she can't post the notes ahead of time, or else the other class is going to be, like, ahead of us. And I was like, what the hell, just post it to our class and not their class, like, both classes at the same time. You can do twice the work. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. And I noticed, too, with the slides, after she posted them, like, because I checked for the notes last Tuesday, and I was like, I got up early in the morning because I'm like, okay, she's a prof, she'll probably be at school early, she'll probably post it, or, like, I'm assuming at least lunchtime. So I'm waiting there, and I'm like, there's no notes, I'm wasting time, I got other work to do. And then my dad came home, and then she posted the notes. And my dad's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing homework. And he's like, why didn't you do it this morning? And I was like, because the notes weren't there. Because he hates when I do homework at night because he doesn't like me running lights on. He's like, we gotta save electricity. And I'm like, well, shit. Yeah, so I was up all night, and I'm like, that's not good for me either, because I want to get some sleep. I want to get a good sleeping pattern if I gotta get up early morning every, like, day. So, yeah, I was up all night. I was up late at night doing the notes, so that pissed me off. Okay, and then while we were in class, since there were so many slides, like, okay, the notes she posted were 80 slides, or not 80, like 78, okay? That many slides long, but she didn't cover all of that in class, and plus she took out some of the slides that we actually went over in class. So, I'm assuming it's not important information, but if she tests us on the stuff she didn't have in there, it's gonna piss me off really badly. So, we were in class, and we went over, all the technical stuff. So how to, like, you know, you go into your camera, you set up all the settings and stuff, but all the cameras aren't the same. And I like that the majority of people in my class use Canons because, I don't know, I just don't get on well with Nikons. So the settings were relatively easy to set. Oh, and that first class, I didn't have my camera because I spent, like, I was worrying about, like, books, and I had to figure out where the rooms were and what profs I had and all that stuff. I didn't check the course schedule, and I didn't realize I had to bring my camera, right? So I had my camera at home, and it was dead because I didn't charge the battery or anything. So I was panicking over that too. I'm like, oh my god, it's first class, I don't have a camera, and if I take out the camera, like, we can borrow cameras from the school, but I know already that they're Nikon cameras, and like, when I use them, all my pictures turn out like shit, so I was like, automatically, because the first assignment she gave us to do was to take photos, and she wanted to look at the photos, and I already knew if I took pictures with this Nikon camera, like, I already ruined my first impression with her, so I was like, fuck. Oh my god, I was like, no way, she's gonna judge me, she's gonna think all my pictures are shit now. So, yeah, so I had to borrow a camera, and I didn't even have my student card on me, because you have to use that to check out the camera, and I was like, this day can't get any worse, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and everything just went wrong. So, yeah, so we had, like, she was going over how to set up the camera, I didn't have my camera, and I was like, fuck, now I have to remember how to set up this camera when I'm by myself at home. Yeah, there was a lot of settings we had to change, and it's a lot of, I don't want to say photography, like, I want to say media jargon. It's, like, a lot of terms you have to learn right off the bat, so you're already on information overload. She went over a couple of things that I've never gone over, and she was like, I don't want to say she was terrible at explaining it, but she eventually was able to explain it, but it took so long because she explained it once. Someone's like, can you explain it again? She explained it twice, and then the second person's just like, do you mean like this? And then she's like, no, and then she goes back to explain it a third time, and then the third student's trying to clarify. It just kept going like that. And I was like, I think I get it, but like every time they kept trying to explain it, I was like, okay, now I really don't understand what's going on. The first, the tables were in groups. So I was sitting with my friend, the other girl I've seen, but I don't know anything about, that I was talking with, and then two other girls, and then one of the guys I knew from class beforehand. He walked in late and he joined our group, but he doesn't sit with us anymore. So we were all sitting in a group, and she said she's going to give us a group assignment, and she gave us each a famous photograph, right? Like those historical ones. So she gave us one of those, and we were in groups, and we had to work on who took the photo, when the photo was taken, how was it taken, what's it about, all that stuff we had to go through. And I found it very insightful because I'm like, it's very hard to find inspiration when you don't know where to take inspiration from. And she was talking about how you should take inspiration from old paintings and photographs, and because they're very iconic. That's what we were trying to establish. So we went through all of that. And then she was talking about, I don't know what I can't remember what it was for, but we did this exercise where you had to have a couple items on the table, and then you take them away, and you have to remember how many items are on the table. I think the point she was trying to make there is that she's trying to explain what people focus on in an image, right? What's the most memorable part of the photo? So, we used a couple of my pens to figure out what's the most memorable thing. And the first thing everybody thought about was my diamond pen. So I was like, okay. And then other things, like the other pens, like Sharpies and stuff that people use every day, like fade into the background. So I kind of got the concept with that. And then after that, that little group activity exercise, whatever you want to call it, we had the lab part. So that was the whole lecture part, right, where she discusses all the technical stuff, setting up your camera. We're talking about iconic photographs, and principles and techniques and stuff, like things you have to actually look for. And one of the things I really hated after the lecture was she kept talking about how, like, she was discouraging us. Like, she was saying how, like, one of the things that really, really pissed me off is she said, what's the point of wanting to be a photographer when anybody can be one? I don't know, like, because she's essentially saying that our class is pointless, right? Because she's saying, like, a couple years from now, when we're actually in, like, our career fields and stuff, like, our class is unnecessary, it's useless, like, what's the point? Because cameras have been evolving for, like, ever, and it's never the same stuff, so what's the point in learning it? And I'm not, I have a lot of opinions, but I would never raise my hand and talk in class, which I probably should, but I don't want to. Especially early morning, I don't want to argue with her, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to let her say her piece, let her, you know, go on with what she wants to talk about. And, you know, if later on I want to get into a heated argument with her, I will. But yeah, the concept of anyone can be a photographer, I don't believe in that. Like, I really want to tell her that, like professional photographers, they have something they look for, whereas amateur photographers are taking the picture for the picture's sake. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm comparing myself to, like, from, like, my mom, for example. So let's say I'm the pro and my mom's the amateur. My mom, her pictures are just mainly going to be like family photographs, or like to show me something, right? She's like, oh, I took a picture of this, but I need to show you what it was. That's how I think an amateur would think. But whereas with the professional photographer, they're looking at angles, lighting, meaning behind the photograph, right? Because regular people, they don't look for meaning. So actual photographers, like when you see like ads and stuff, or like they've already been photoshopped, but I mean like when you take a picture, you're looking for some sort of meaning that's trying to be told through the image. So for example, let's say we have like, no, I'll get to that. Okay, she explained this example. So yeah, that's what I want to get across, is that like actual professional photographers, like they know what they're looking for. They're looking for lighting. They know how to operate a camera. Yeah, like they're taking the picture mentally in a different way. So then she gave us, like after that group assignment, the lecture and everything. I don't know why I'm still thinking about that idea of like what a photographer is, but I don't know, it just struck me and really made me angry, because she was basically saying that she's trying to like discourage, that's the word. She's trying to discourage us from becoming photographers. At least that's how I think. And she's a self-taught photographer too, so I don't know much about her, like her experience, because I want to judge her based on her work, but I should probably ask her to see her actual work, but I'm just judging her based on what I've seen and heard and everything so far. I just lost my train of thought because I'm so angry. But you can't see that. Yeah, so after that idea, the lecture, the group activity, then we moved on to the actual lab, right, where we actually need the cameras. So then my friend, she checked out a camera for me from the school, and I had to go use it, and that was hell. But the assignment was, we each have to write down what we want to photograph, and then on a small piece of paper, and then she told us to fold it up, and then she came out with like the same room she pulled the whiteboard from. She went to go get this tiny orange bowl, like roughly this size. I'm not joking. And there's more of us than there's more students in the class than there is like room in this bowl, like for the paper to fit. So she comes with this tiny orange bowl, and she's like, fold up the piece of paper and put it in here. And I'm like, this bowl is overflowing. She's dropping them on the floor. And now I'm starting to panic, because I'm like, okay, the thing I want to photograph was simple. If I was photographing with the stupid Nikon camera, and I'm panicking because now I don't know what I'm gonna be photographing or like taking pictures of, and it's with a camera I don't know how to use. So I was panicking. I was like, everyone's gonna get. I wrote that I want to take pictures of trees and flowers, because I hate taking pictures of people because they never come out right, and then people don't like being in front of the camera anyways. So I was like, okay, I'm very good at taking nature shots. I'm gonna stick to that. But then took my piece of paper, put it in the bowl, and just hoped I could pick something similar to that. So this bowl is overflowing, so you have to be careful, because if you pull out one, all of them spill on the floor. So I reach in, pulled one out, and I was like, I don't want to look. So then I open it up, and it says, the person who wrote it said they wanted me to take pictures of watches, or like they said, I want to take pictures of my watch, right? But I'm like, do they mean like if I have to take pictures of that person specific? I can't take pictures of the person who wants. I can't take pictures of that person's watch, because they're gonna be doing the assignment too. So I can't be like, unless I take it off their wrist or whatever. But I don't think they're gonna like, especially if I don't know the person, then they're probably not gonna be comfortable with me just holding their stuff. So I ended up deciding, like I decided to end up taking pictures of watches in general, and it had to be the day when I decided not to wear a watch. So I was like, great, okay. I don't remember how many pictures she said to take, but I was like, I'm going to aim for a handful. I'm going to aim for at least 5. So, um, my friend had to take pictures of flowers. She got the one I wanted to do, and then my other friend had to take pictures of of the third floor, like the library and the college side. So she had to go there. The other one had to go to the far back where the flowers are, and then I have to run around finding people wearing watches and taking pictures with their watch. I feel so bad for the people I had to stop. Can you imagine? It's like a random person comes up to you and be like, I have an assignment to do where I have to take pictures of watches. Can I like take a picture of your watch? And I hope you're not in a rush. Like that's how I had to explain it. And these people are just, oh, the the last picture of the last watch picture I took was my prof because I couldn't like for me I'm not a person that would go up to someone randomly like that was so out of my comfort zone and I was like I'm making other people uncomfortable too, so I was like, you know what, I go back to class. I'm like, okay, I'm missing like a fifth picture, and then I see my profs wearing a watch, and I'm just because I'd rather go up to the prof than I would go up to like anyone else in this class and ask for a watch picture. But yeah, I go up to her and I take the picture and the flash goes off. And I was like, shit. Oh, you never, okay, if you're in a photography class, the flash, you basically never use flash. Okay, flash is like a big, like, no. So as soon as the flash went off, I knew she was gonna, I took the one picture and I was like, okay, thanks. And she's like, cool. I was like, okay, whatever. But I'm like, I knew right away when I took the flash, she's already gonna think the picture's crap because I took it with flash. She hates, like, what I learned about today is that she hates artificial light. So since the room was really poorly lit, so of course the flash is gonna go off and I didn't set anything right. So yeah, I took a picture of like I was like so close to the prof and I took a picture of her watch. So not a very good picture, but I took a picture nonetheless. My friend that was taking the flower picture, she didn't know where to go to find flowers. I was like, really? Like you don't know where the garden is? The one I was explaining in the first vlog. Okay, this place, like anybody who lives on campus knows, but I don't live there. I just know through, word of mouth. But she said like it's non-existent to her. So I was like, yay, I get to take you. Let's go and have some fun and go look. So we took the long way there because we went to the library first to drop my one friend off there. I took a few pictures there with the watches, and then we were running out of time because we were supposed to split up, but like I don't like being abandoned. Especially with a camera I don't know. I'd rather have someone there helping me out. So we stuck in a group. Then we left my one friend at the library. She got a few photos. I got a few photos, and my other friend, well, both of them don't know where the garden place is. So we left my friend there, and the other girl, she came along with me so I could show her where the garden, if she explained it to her. But yeah, we went. Sorry, I don't know if I'm running out of space here. Shit. I talk so long, I can't even English. Yeah, so me and the girl I met, we went to the flower part, and she took the pictures and stuff, and I was getting to know her and stuff. And she helped me out along the way. So we finished the assignment, we head back to class and everything. And then as we were walking back to class, she was telling me how like she probably taking the picture for a girl because there's more girls in the class than guys. And I already knew that the person I got was a guy. And she was asking me, she's like, you can tell by the handwriting if it's a girl or a boy. And I already knew it was a boy, but I told her like I honestly don't know. Right? So like I already knew who it was. Okay, I'm gonna explain this. So yeah, we get back to class. She already knows who her person was, because we have to discuss with the person we took the pictures with if we took the pictures in like how they wanted it. So I go up to one of the guys that I know, not the one who's sitting with us, like he doesn't talk to me much, but I went to the next group over, the next table group over, and I talked to my one friend, and I was like, do you know, like, I took the piece of paper because obviously they're going to know the handwriting, so I was like, did you write this? And he's like, no, you should look over there. I was like, please don't say it's that one guy. Please, please, please. He points over to the one guy. I was like, I think I thought it was, and it was. So, okay, let me explain my, like, why, like, I knew it was this guy. So, what I told you, like, at the start, that I ran around this room, I ran around the hall, ran around the floor trying to find this room. And when I walked into where I sat down, so the prof's here, and then, like, right diagonally from me is this guy, right? And every time, like, and the screen's over here where you're looking at the PowerPoint. So my head's going like this, right? Because I'm going from like prof to screen to prof to screen. But sometimes my head would like stop here, right, where the guy is, and looking at him, I'm like, why is he staring in my direction, right? Like, I get that a lot. Like, I get people staring at me uncomfortably, and I know they're staring at me because as soon as I turn back and look back, they're still staring. So, like, I noticed that this guy was uncomfortably staring at me. So, I don't know what we're going to nickname him. Like, he probably doesn't need a nickname at this point, but he was staring at me. And I was, like, uncomfortable with the staring because... So, yeah, the table group over, the guy I knew, he's like, it's that guy. And then I go, okay, and I go up to the guy, and I'm like, is this yours? And he said, yeah. And I borrowed my friend's camera because I gave up on the cage, or like the school camera. And, yeah, I borrowed her camera, and I was sifting through the pictures to show him pictures of the watches. Because I could clearly tell he was wearing a watch. I knew, okay, So, he goes through my pictures. I already know they're trash, okay, but just because they're, just because I was taking the photos on a camera I'm not used to. So, he's gonna evaluate my photos, right? So, I show him the photos, and I'm like, he's gonna, like, I don't know how he's gonna react, so, because I've never seen this guy in my life. I don't know why, it's like third year, like, our program, it's media, right? Like, you should know everybody, but, like, I'm still meeting people, like, I've never seen before. So, I'm sifting through these photos, and he's just like, well, he's like, they're exactly how I would take them, and I was like, no way. He's being nice, right? Like, there's no way. My photos are crap. There's no way he's gonna, like, he likes them. And then I tried to get out, like, I showed my pictures as quickly as possible, get his feedback, and then run back to my spot because, like, I'm too close to him. He got in really close, just to look at the camera. I should just given him the camera and just, like, told him, like, whatever. So just as I'm about to turn around and, like, bolt out of the situation, he goes like this. Or, like, okay, so there's only, okay, I have a problem with people who stare at me, and then I have a problem with people, like, I don't get handshakes much, so there's certain people who like to shake my hand, and I was hoping he's not one of them, but he's like, this, like, if you're gonna shake my hand, I'm okay if you're a business student or you're, like, wearing a suit or something, but, like, we're all casually dressed and everything. I'm like, this is, like, a very informal situation, and he's formally put his hand out in front of me. So I was like, oh shit, he wants a handshake. So, I really don't want to shake his hand. I'm like panicking over having to shake his hand. I was like, I can't reject though because he's a nice guy and I don't want to, like, I feel sorry for him. I was acting like so strangely. So he's like, hi, my name is whatever. And then I was like, okay. And then I shook his hand and then I ran. Because I was like, I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to. I can't shake your hand. I can't. And then, like, now that I'm looking back on the situation, like, I'm so stupid. I didn't realize he did that to introduce himself because I don't even remember if I told him my name. I was so focused on like not wanting to like touch him that yeah, I'm an idiot. So yeah, that was the first day of photography class. And then today I had my second class. And then I realized the girl I met the other week that my friend was talking to, she knows him. So and she sits in my direction. So now I'm starting to think, oh, maybe he's looking at her, right? But like I don't know. We'll never know. But they seem to know each other, so I don't know if they're a thing. Where am I going with this? Yeah, so I feel bad for that guy. Like that was the like I feel like I screwed up there. Like he seemed really nice. It's just that I was panicking over the stupidest thing. Cuz I don't have like there's certain people who come to shake my hand and I have that connotation in my head, so I don't know like I don't know what I'm going on about this, but yeah, the other classes, because I have a couple classes with that girl, and she talks to this guy a lot. So I'm thinking like, ooh, they look cute together. But I don't know if they're a thing. Probably not. She's too cute. So, yeah, that was photography. If I backtrack to the prof, too many slides, too much technical stuff. She over-explained things to the point where they're still kind of unclear. Her grammar is awful. She's writing on this whiteboard, and she can't spell. I'm sorry, but her grammar is awful. She kept saying vantage, and she wrote vintage, and I was like, holy shit, you're a prof. Yeah, she can't spell. So, like, I'm not looking at the board anymore, only if she's drawing to, like, explain things more clearly. But, yeah, so grammar's terrible. Her grammar's terrible. And then another thing too is she looks like a strict marker because she's looking like I told you at the start that photographers have a certain way of looking at things. So they're looking for certain key elements like lighting and stuff in the photo. So as soon as she looked through my photos with the watch after like that weird handshake thing, and I get back to my seat, she comes to look at the photos. She gave me that look like they were trash, and I knew they were trash. But she said, like, if you're photographing things like watches and stuff, like, of that size, she said, make sure you focus on the background. I was like, I never thought of it that way. That was very good advice. But I feel like she's a strict marker because she's looking for certain things. So I'm very worried about this class. And, yeah. That class. Yes, I don't know how I feel. Oh yeah, I had the same class again today, and nothing weird happened with the guy. It was just that one day. I don't know why I'm tripping about it. Poor guy. Yeah, so what happened today? I don't even remember. Holy shit. My memory's so crap. All I remember is that she was talking about histograms and like exposure and camera adjustment, like the technical stuff on what you change and everything. And I was like, okay. And we went and we took photos today with testing out exposure and stuff. So today was, oh, my impression of her today though, the prof, is she's very good one-on-one, but she's very slow one-on-one. Like she'll take as long as she needs to with one person and then time runs out. Like I noticed that, but I like her one-on-one. Because she explains things much more clearly. I don't know how that makes any sense. How could she not explain things in front of a whole bunch of people, but she can explain to one person? But like, I like her when it's just like, if it was just me and her, like one-on-one, I think I'd like her. But the fact that we're in a classroom setting, like, I don't like it. But then again, I don't know how she marks or anything yet, so we'll see how I feel about her later. It's too early to judge, right? So I don't know how I feel about that class. I just know, like, I have to take photos from certain angles, and I have to know when to use what setting. That's all I have to worry about for that class. And just gotta remember to fetch around my damn camera. Like Thursday, because I have those 3 classes, I have to fetch around so many things. And I don't want to carry around my camera all day because I start at 9 let's say 9 in the morning, 9:50 in the morning, and I end till 9 at night. So I was like, I really don't want to damage my camera because I don't have a camera bag for it, and I don't want to fetch around a camera bag, so it's in my bag, and I'm like, please, lens, don't break. I hope nothing breaks. DSLRs are expensive. But, yeah, that was photography. Oh, another thing, too, I'm sitting here, and then across from me, so the watch guys are sitting over here, okay? Oh, over there. Across from me is this other boy that's sitting in front of me, right? But I'm like, he looks familiar. Have I seen him around? Because, like, I don't understand. And he's sitting with this girl that I've seen around a lot with this other girl that looks similar to the guy I'm talking about, right? So she hangs around with someone who looks similar to him. So I was like, huh, maybe he's a twin. Maybe he's got like a twin sister, right? Because I've seen like a girl always with the girl he's with right now. So I like, maybe that's his sister, right? And yeah, like that's where we're gonna start the story, okay? So I see this guy, like I know I've seen him before. The girl next to him that he's always with, I've seen her with a girl, right? And I'm assuming that was his sister, okay? This is where we're starting, okay? I'll get back to that. So, we'll get to my next class. So now it's roughly afternoon now. It's Thursday afternoon. And I go into this class, and this class, like, oh wait, hold on. Let's backtrack. There's a break in between photography and the next class. It's the media impact class. So, I've like my friend who's with me in that class. She had other things to do or whatever. But I hung out with the new girl just to get a feel for her personality and what she's like and stuff. So far, like my impression of her, she's amazing. So. I followed her around, and we went downstairs, and down like the ground floor, we have when you walk into the building, there's this plant wall, right? So everybody meets there if you don't know like where to meet. So she said she had to go meet someone to sell her books, so I went there and sat with her. And she sold her books and stuff, and then I followed her, and she said she was meeting up with some friends. So I was like, this is my opportunity to make friends, because in this situation I'd probably just be catching up on things, right? Like getting everything sorted out and stuff. But I'm like, this year I feel like I need to network. So I'm like, okay, let's go make some friends. So I follow her, and we go to the table, and then I right away I recognize one of the girls that I knew from, like, she was in my class last year. So I was like, okay. And then one of the other girls was in our class too. She sat like 2 seats away from Watch Guy. That's what we're gonna call him. Poor guy. Yeah, she sat 2 seats away from him, and she's got like this beautiful colored hair. And they're sitting beside each other. And then there's like a couple other girls that I've seen around for 2 years, but like I never had a chance to like interact with them. So I was like, cool. The girl with the really pretty hair, she introduced herself. Well, she goes by a nickname, right? So I was like, why does she go by that nickname? But it's kind of cute now that I think about it. I like it. She doesn't go by her name, so it we're on the second floor, and that's where you usually go to eat. So we're on the second floor, and they're all like having salads. Right, us two just walked in, grabbed seats, came to sit down, and they're discussing about textbook prices, because textbooks are pricey, right? And they were talking about, I automatically know when I like a person, because, so every time I make like a new friend that's a girl, they automatically start talking to me about boys. So I walked in, and we're talking about like our anxiety for textbook costs and guys. So I was like, okay, so this sound like, I can't, right away when they started talking about guys, I'm like, I can't focus now. So the girl with the pretty hair, she she introduced herself, and then I introduced myself, and that's where it clicked when I thought back to when the guy shook my hand. I was like, I'm an idiot. So she was very straightforward with me, which is what I liked. And then we started talking about. They were talking about, okay, I wanna know your opinion on. They were asking me like, what's your opinion on dating your friend's ex? Right? Out of all the things they could have asked me, so that's the first thing they asked me, right? And we were discussing this at the table. Like, I really want to know other people's opinion on this, but they were telling me how, like, they really like their friends' exes, but they don't know how to tell the friend, right? They're like, the friend would kill them if they knew, or like, you know what I mean? And I was like, I told them my opinion that, like, if they're really their friend, they would understand. But then again, I'm like, huh, I don't know who these people are. Like, okay, if I was the friend, I'd want to know, right? But I'm like, not everybody wants to know, so I don't know. Like, you have to think about, like, if you're gonna do something like that, is it gonna last, right? You have to know what kind of, like, the consequences of it, right? Either you keep your friendship with your friends or not. Like, that's the line, right? But we were discussing that, and it was getting better and better. And then the girl I knew from last semester, like, I'm seeing her in a whole new light, right? Like, I can see she's more energetic, and, like, I don't know, like, I like, I know I liked her last semester, but, like, I like her even more now, like, as a person. So she's talking about how she's talking about all these cute guys and how, like, and how work's stressful and stuff. Like, I can't remember everything. I should have explained all that, like, that day, but I think I would have revealed too much. But yeah, I made friends, and after that whole situation, I felt a little bit less stressed, but I still had, like, I put off what I needed to do within that time to chat, right? So I found out they're in another stream of the program, right? I told you I'm going into digital communications, which is coding, filmmaking, that kind of thing. And they went into the business section where they deal with, you know, business affairs for media. So I found out they have class with me next, like, after, like, the media impact course. They have that class with me. So we go about half an hour before class starts, and it's in a room like I've never been in, right? It's not one of the typical rooms. And we walk in there, and I'm like, are we late? Like, we're half an hour early, and this room's already full. And when we get there, we're, like, sitting in the back. And for me, like, oh man, like, I'm blind. Like, if the prof writes on the board, I need to sit in the front. And, like, but I didn't have to worry because I had this prof before, and I know that he posts the notes ahead of time, so I'm like, okay, so I don't have to worry about, like, that kind of stuff as long as I pay attention. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind sitting in the back. So we're sitting in the back, and I can see other people in this class. And I see the boy from this morning who sits right across from me. He was sitting preferably where I would want to sit. And then I see one of my other friends sitting behind him. The kids that usually talk sit beside the guy, and my other friend that's involved a lot with school activities and stuff sit behind the other friend. How am I explaining this? So there's a lot of people I know in that class. That class went by fine. It was smooth. It's just that I have to worry about group work. I don't have much to say about this class. I don't know what to say about this class. Like, it's just you listen, take notes. You might have to write an essay or two. It's fine. So we'll move on to, like, I don't have much to say with that one. So I guess it's a good class. I don't have complaints. Okay, so the class after that, there's another. I have like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before going to the half class, so my videography class. And I get there, and the class beforehand, watch guy's in, the guy with the watch, and oh, my friend was with me, the girl I was talking to, and they were talking, so I knew they were close, and like, okay, good. So like I don't know what I'm doing, but like they like, okay, she can deal with him, okay? So I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the next class, for the class to start, because they were coming out of the room. And I noticed again where I'm sitting, right, like not right across from me, but a little bit like this way. The same guy who sits across from me in the morning, sitting like roughly right across from me. So I'm like, huh, we got a couple classes together. And it's the same girl who sings beside him this morning is in that class too. But she, like, what I noticed is that she never sits with him. So, like, at least that's what I noticed today. I'm like, they're never sitting together. They're sitting at least, like, that far. They're not like this. So, I was like, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, videography. Oh, hold on. Before I get to videography, I forgot to mention one thing with the photography class. The prof, she was explaining, I don't know why, for the example, she brought up watches again. Holy shit. Yeah, she brought up watches, and she was explaining how, like, these watches are juxtaposed with water, right? So I was telling you, like, when you're a photographer, you're trying to convey meaning. So having watches with water, you're thinking waterproof, right? Yeah, but that pissed me off. I was like, she had to bring up watches. Oh, and then the other class, the media impact class. Sorry, I keep forgetting what I'm calling it. I was like the class was like this, and then like my mind wasn't on actually studying. My mind was more on like, oh shoot, I want to get diss track season videos up. And then all of a sudden, my prof kept saying YouTube, 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 right? And I was like, that caught my attention. And then I looked up, and I was like, okay, is that a sign? Like, I know I'm behind on videos, but you don't have to repeat it so many times. And then I don't remember which class, but one of the classes he asked if anybody has YouTube channels. Of course, I'm not going to raise my hand, okay? Like, these people don't need to know me. But the guy that I'm trying to explain, that's in my videography class and stuff, the one who sits, like, yeah, you know what I mean. He raised his hand up and said he had a YouTube channel. I'm like, I can stalk this person. Well, not stalk, I just want to get a better feel for who the person is to see if I'm comfortable being around them, right? So... yeah, fast forward back to videography. I'll keep going back and forth. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're in videography, and this, like, the prof, like, okay, what I don't like about all the like, the photography prof and then the videography prof is that, or like, more for the photography prof, is that she's assuming that she's teaching as if we already know the stuff, right? She's teaching us as if we're pros and not amateurs. So that makes it's more annoying because she has to keep re-explaining. So same thing with videography, like, the prof is trying to explain, but he's terrible at explaining too. But I don't know how I feel, like, I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable with this prof, okay? Like, that might change over the semester, but I'm really uncomfortable right now. Like, I can't, like, this prof gives off a weird vibe. Like, it's not soothing, it's not reassuring, it's just very uncomfortable. Like, this prof, oh my god. We were going over storyboards and technical camera equipment and stuff. Okay, first thing he said was for our first assignment, he said we're not using DSLRs. And I was like, fuck. I'm like, the only camera I know how to actually use is my own DSLR. And then I'm like, okay, he said we're going to be using industry-style cameras to get a feel for it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But, like, there's a hell ton of buttons to learn. So now I got to learn a whole other thing. And he said we have to go through the manual and everything. I don't know if I'm still comfortable with it yet, but I'm going to have to be, because I have to film in the next 2 weeks. But, yeah. Videography. Yeah, that was the Thursday, and then I went to videography again on the Friday. But, that weekend, I looked at, I went to, I don't know why I was on my mind, but I went to go look for that guy's YouTube channel, right? Of course I found it. I'm like, okay, no, the guy, like, it was very easy to find. And I scrolled down to the. I always watch the videos from the oldest to the newest just to catch up on what happened. Because if you start from the newest, you don't understand where the person's coming from, right? So, I check out the YouTube channel and I go all the way to the first video and I'm like, it's the girl that I told you, like, like I'm familiar with it. I think it might be his, like, sister, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, it's the girl, like I've seen the, like, I've had classes with the girl, but I've never, like, talked to her or anything, so I didn't know, like, what she was like, but all I knew is that I liked her because she's, like, one of those people that don't get on my nerves, because I remember the first 2 years, like, everyone was all, like, competitive, like, they need to do better than each other, but I'm like, you have to learn from one another, right? That's the only way we're gonna get better. You can't compete with somebody and like I learned that for videography, like, it's a team effort and we're doing everything, like, the whole logistics of it we're doing on our own, and that's a lot for one person, right? So where am I going with this? Yeah, so I look at the first video. I'm like, it's the girl. So then, like, their vocal covers, and it's like, huh, okay. So I recently put up a vocal cover. So it's like, you know what I don't what I don't understand is that a lot of people in my program are either musicians or artists. So yeah, so I saw the vocal cover. I'm like, huh, I recently posted a vocal cover. I'm like, oh, maybe this person's musically inclined, right? His sister probably can, like, she had a voice, like, damn. So I watched a couple of them, like, songs I knew. I should watch the rest, but I don't have the time. But I went through it and I'm like, damn, like, she's talented. And then I get to the recent video. Guess what I discover? I'm dying. No, but seriously, I find out that, I'm so stupid. I could have put 2 and 2 together, but I didn't realize at the time. But one of the newer videos says I'm transgender. Let that sink in. I was like, wow, okay, so okay, he's not a twin. He doesn't have a sister, or he is the sister. So it's like, it's a girl that's now a boy, right? So I was like, cool, okay. I was like, I'm slow, cool, okay. And then I could tell, like, by watching the videos, I'm gonna get along well with this person, right? So my hands hurts from holding this, I'm sorry. Yeah, the person is awkward, right? I don't know if they feel comfortable in their own skin, but I know this person is very timid and has a hard time speaking up for themselves unless they really have to. So yeah, so then I realized, like, I know the boy, like, this is why he's familiar. It's like, ding, click, you know what I mean? Like, okay. And then as soon as I did that first week, this week now, this Thursday, so I'm in the photography class again, right? And the prof decides to come late, and everybody's outside camping in front of the room, wanting to get in, right? Because it's early, might as well just let us in. But no, oh, hold on, I skipped over parts. Okay, one thing you should know about me is that, I don't know why, but, like, as soon as class ends, everybody always rushes out, and I'm always, like, the last person to leave the room because I'm so slow. But the last semester, I remember overhearing that the girl I told you that the guys, they never sit together, but, like, I remember, like, that class when I left, like, they were talking about how this person's uncomfortable with pronouns, right? I remember I had my headphones in, and I was, like, on my way to go home, and I remember it's like they waited for everyone to leave the room before they started to explain pronouns. And I was like, that's what I thought about. And then at the end of videography, we had problems with the camera and stuff, right? So he helped us out, but he still didn't know I existed, right? Like, he is so in his own world, right? So at the yeah, on the Friday after the class, it's not just me and him, but it's like me, him, and maybe like two other people. And I don't remember what happened, but it was just me, him, like the prof, and then a few other people. And then we left the room, and he talked to me. So I didn't know what I was expecting. I was like, okay, no, hold on. The photography class in the morning. No, not the no. I'm sorry. I'm messing it up. Okay, yeah, he talked to me. So, because we were the last couple people out, and I'm like, oh, this person's so friendly and has manners. I like you more already. But we walk out, and then he introduced himself without having to put his hand out. Okay, because I was still traumatized from the whole handshake. This person introduced themselves without the handshake and stuff. He's like, hi, my name is, and then I was like, I know, and then I shouldn't have said that because his reaction dropped. He's like, you do, right? And I was like, yeah, we have a good couple of classes together, and you didn't notice me, but okay. And then he's like, his face like went into shock. He's like, what? We have classes together. But like to me, like that initial meeting is just like, I met you for like I've known you, but like this is the first time I'm actually meeting you. You know what I mean? Like, cool. He was very I explain, but like he was like after the discussion I had with him, I'm like, damn, like I like this person more than I did before, right? Oh, by the way, since he like went from a girl to a boy, like he's hotter now. Okay, like bonus for you. I'm like, you're hella hot. Okay. Yeah, but the conversation I had with this person was so down to earth and like human, and like I could tell right away, like he didn't see me as a threat. Like most people when they talk to me, it's like they want to get something out of you, but like he was genuinely talking to me. So one of the things he said was he asked me what I thought about the class and stuff, or like he always asked me how I think about the class, and I was like, I honestly don't know because I don't know how I feel. Like this year, like usually last 2 years, I could automatically tell whether I like the prof or not, or how everything was gonna go on, you know how things were gonna work. But this year, I don't know. So, like I gave him that like look, like I honestly don't know, right? And he's like, oh, if you need help, I can be your last resort. And I was like, you said last resort. Yo, I don't even have a first resort, and you want to claim the last place? Okay. I was like, maybe if I do have problems, I'll ask him for help. But I'm like, he's struggling with videography too and understanding some stuff. So I was like, maybe like if I go through it, I'll go through it with him too. But I was like, I don't know. It's cool. I'm like, he's cool. Like, we're talking about photos, and we're talking about embroidery, and we're talking about filming and classes. Like, we have so much to talk about. I'm like, cool, I made friends. Like, yeah, and then Monday. So those were 3 classes I just went through. I went through photography, I went through media impact stuff, and then I went through videography. So that's what happened in those first 2 days with those first 3 classes. And then Monday, I have my law class. So the night before, the prof sends out an email, a very hefty email. And right away when I'm looking at this, I'm like, he's old. You can tell just by how he writes, or like, not how he writes, like I don't know how to explain it, but like right away when I read it, I'm like, I know he's old. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, so one of the things he mentioned in the email was to bring textbooks. And oh, since it's a law class, I forgot to mention he is a lawyer. So I don't know how people feel about being in a room with a lawyer. So I have that class with my friend, right? My best friend's in that class. So everybody I know is in that class. So I was like, oh shit, I actually have to look decent today. Because the rest of the days I look like a sack. Like, I look like... it's Monday, and we have law roughly in the afternoon, and my friend is always late. I don't know, like, I have to save a seat for her because she's late. And then the girls I met on the Thursday during that break, I have that class with them too. So I was like, okay, we all have class together. So I'm sitting with my best friend, and then the girl who talks to Watch Guy, and that, like, I just met her, and then my other friend, right? We're all sitting in this one row. Or we're just 3 of us so far. My friend didn't show up yet, okay? She's like 5 minutes before class, she texts me. She's like, which way do I go up the stairs to find this room? And I was like, this way. And then I'm still waiting. I'm like, if she's by the stairs, she should have shown up already. And I'm like, is she lost? She's texting me ahead of time. So 2 minutes or 3 minutes before class starts, she walks in, and everyone's talking about how this prof's gonna be, right? Because nobody knows who he is, like, but we all, like, I betted them. I was like, I bet you he's a lawyer, and I bet you he's old. And I told them, I bet you, like, because it was so close to class, I'm like, I'm praying, I hope he walks in late, because if he's like he walks in late, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Right? Because then I don't have to worry about rushing here. So yeah, so I save her seat, and I have everything ready and set out and everything. She comes and she sits down beside me, and we talk and stuff, but I'm like, this stuff I really want to talk to her about, I don't want to talk about with other people around the room, because, you know, people always eavesdropping, and yeah. So she comes to sit beside me, and I'm like, the prof's late. I predicted it. He's not coming. Please tell me he's not coming. Okay. And then he walks in. I didn't realize he walked in. He walks really quickly. He walked in. I'm like, he's old. Got a second one right. He's old. Okay. He introduced himself like 20 times. Oh my god. Okay. I had like 50 mini heart attacks. 50 mini heart attacks. I can't talk. Heart attacks during that class, okay, because he's talking like this, and all of a sudden he goes like, right? And like, I'm sitting there trying not to like collapse. So, he introduced himself, and he said he's a lawyer. So I was like, I'm 3 for 3, man. Like, where's my money? Where my money at? Okay. So he explained, like, I already knew he's old, right? So he's the first couple things out of his mouth was, he kept explaining. He kept introducing himself. He said he was a lawyer. He kept explaining the benefits of having a textbook, which I don't really care for, because I always have my textbook, so stop giving me this freaking rant. He talked about how he hates technology. So right away, he's old, okay? We already know that. Like, he says no laptops, no phones, no nothing. Like, he doesn't even use slides. So that put everyone at, like, unease, because they're like, what the hell? How we gotta pay attention and take notes. He's a lawyer. I'm really worried though, because, oh my god, like, I never had a prof. Oh, I sat in like there's the first row and then the second row, right? And I didn't know he's a spitter. So I sat in like the middle, and I put my friend on the end seat because she's gonna walk in late, right? So she walked in late and stuff, and then I felt bad for her because I'm like, I'm so sorry for giving me that seat, because he comes to like the first 2 rows and he's talking, he's like, I'm a spitter, and I was like, oh shit, we're in like the splash zone. Oh my god. And then on top of that, I was like one of the few people that brought my textbook, because people are always like I know I need the textbook. I'm like, I'm not going to argue over price. I'm going to go for the cheapest one I can, get it as fast as possible, and read it. But then you have everyone complaining over the book. And I was one of the few people that had it out. And he had to come right in front of me, and he started, like, he wants to talk to students. So he wants, like, to get you talking. I'm like, I've already said, like, when I was talking about photography, like, I wouldn't raise my hands up unless I could really You know, I don't want to get heated with the prof on the first day. But I don't know his impression of me, but he said when he walked in, he's like, I've heard from the other profs that we have a few characters in this class. I was like, is that good or bad? But I can kind of tell what he meant by that, because some of the people in my class, like I'm shaking, sorry. All the people in my class, like some of them, they're easy to characterize, I guess. Is that bad to say? Like you have like your typical slacker, your over like the person who really wants a good mark and like tries to lead everything and all that kind of thing. So you can kind of, I wonder what kind of person I am. But sorry, I'm coughing so much because I'm talking so much. Yeah, so he said there's characters, and I could already like they're. Oh, what I forgot to mention with the videography prof is that I'm uncomfortable with him because he stares into your soul for too long, okay? Like, he'll explain something, and then he's looking at you like you're supposed to respond, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be responding at. Like, he's just looking at you until you, like, say something. It just makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, stop staring into my soul, like... like... I'm uncomfortable as it is already because I know I have stuff to do, but, like, don't stare. Like, staring is not good. Yeah, so the law teacher, he's looking you dead in the eye, and he's talking to you, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you with this many people listening in on what I'm going to say, because, I don't know, like, for me, like, I feel like most of them are judgmental. Right? And I don't want them having really crappy impressions of me. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so, law anxiety. But I think that class is going to be really helpful because one of the things we're learning near the end of the semester, of course, is copyright. And I'm like, okay, copyright's going to be helpful for if I post videos where I'm using copyrighted material. But... yeah, I think that's everything I want to say about law. It was just a lot of this, you know? Oh my god. Like, I'm going like this the whole time. And then on Wednesday, I think my Wednesday class I like the most, just because of the prof. So the prof, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be at a different disadvantage because the prof, he's the coding prof, right? I had the other one last year, so there was like, he's like the main coding prof, but I had to be in the class with the other prof, and I was worried that if I get into a class with the one who actually runs like the coding stuff, if I have to learn everything from scratch again this year, because I learned everything from scratch last year, and then I don't want to learn it from scratch again this year with a new prof, right, because he's going to have previous students, and they already know how he works, and then you have me trying to figure out what the heck to do. But I noticed, oh my god, like, if I didn't have my laptop that day, I would have been so screwed. Like, he codes so quickly, so I'm coding as fast as I can, you know, as fast as he's going. And I learned a lot. Like, I really like how he teaches. I just wish he would go a little slower. But the class ended early, but I just wish he went a little bit slower. I have to work on that assignment, shit. Yo, I have so many things to do. So, for photography, I have to take pictures to be, looked at by the teacher, by the prof. I keep saying teacher, they don't like that. The other one, I have the group project, group assignment, group work, and then videography, I have that film project, and then, law, I have to pick a debate thing. Oh, I didn't finish with law. Oh, shit. Okay, so with law, oh my god, okay. He was talking about how much everybody hates group work, right? And it's obvious because, like, you always get that one person who's always slacking. And that one person who's telling everybody what to do and all that shit. So, he said, since it's a class where everybody gets together, right? So everybody from every stream's in there. So I'm in digital communications. My friend's in journalism. That's why I'm in the class with her. And he was telling us what group numbers we were in, and I was like, please let me be in a group with someone I know, please. I can't debate, so I was like, because I'm not an argumentative person, so I can't argue back with someone unless they're wrong. Okay, you gotta be like hella wrong before I can argue back with you. But I was hoping I get into a group with my friend, but he said he already made up the groups, right? So we're waiting to hear our numbers called out, and my friend gets number 4, and I was like, okay, she got 4. I better get like number 12 or something. Like, it better not be close to her number, or else I'm gonna get real pissed that you split us up, because that means he knows how much assignments I've done with her, or like how many I like working with her because she knows me so well. But she's in group 4, and guess what group I'm in? I'm in group 5. And I'm like one of the last people to get called out, and I was like, oh my god. One group apart. We couldn't be in the same debate group. Okay. But I know, oh my god, okay. We need to talk about this debate group. So, there's, how many of us in total? Aside from me, there's 5 other people. So there's 6 of us in total. The 2 guys that are in their group I already know, and I'll explain. I need to talk about them. There's this one girl that I met in the videography class. Oh, that's what I was saying. See, now I'm backtracking. Remember I said there was like me, the guy who sits across from me, the prof, and a few other people. One of the few other people was this girl who's in my group now, and she's very nice. And like I got to talk to her a bit and stuff, so I'm like, okay, she's okay, but I don't know how she works. But like I've met her. And then the other 2, like, is my first time meeting them, but the prof made the groups so people from different streams would be in a group, right? He didn't want all, like, the digital communications people to be in one group, all the PR people to be in one group, all the journalism people to be in one group, you know what I mean? Like, he wanted us to actually work to our strengths. But, sorry, my hand's shaking, maybe I should switch hands. Yeah, so I don't have much to say about the other 2 girls just because I don't know them. I don't know if I've seen them or anything. That's kind of bad to say, but I'm like, hopefully we get along. That's all I have to say for that. The 2 guys now. Okay, one of the guys, he was in my debate group for another class, so I was like, okay, I already know he's very good at making his point. So I was like, okay, like, I have no problem with this guy. This guy, like, I get along with. And then I go and I ask him, I'm like, I don't understand when we got put into the same group, right? Because the groups are all split up into different streams. And I'm like, okay, there's like 3 or 4 of us already in like DC. And I'm like, who's in what other programs? So then I asked him like, because when I see this guy, right, he's always with his, they're always 2 of them. There's like him and his friend, and they're always together, so I always think of them as a pair, right? And when I don't see them together, I'm like, why? They got broken up. But yeah, his friend I usually talk to a lot more just because I've worked with him a lot more, and this is the more quiet friend, so I don't get to talk to him. So I'm like, I don't usually make small chat, but I tried to get some information out of him. So I was like, what program are you in? Because he sits where I'm sitting in the front, so obviously he's gonna sit in the back. But I asked him which stream he went into, and this man told me journalism, and my face dropped. I was like, no way, there's no way you went into journalism. Okay, so let me okay. I don't know, like, if I'm ignorant for reacting that way, but I don't think I am. So I'll explain. So every time I had class with this guy, he's the type to, he likes to sit on the ends where he could leave the room quickly or sit in the back. He would never sit in the front. He's never taking notes. He might be watching, I don't know, sports or like a movie or something on his laptop. Like, he's not taking notes, okay? He's just, I don't know why he shows up to the class then. He's just sitting there having a good time. And I like that he sits beside me because, or he doesn't sit beside me. He sits close to me because I'm like, okay, if I get bored, I just look over there. But that hasn't happened yet. But like, he doesn't write. That's my point I'm trying to get at, is that he doesn't take notes. Like, he just sits there and does I don't know what. And then when we have exams and stuff, I never worry anymore because I always notice he's always like, as soon as like because we have to hand in, the earliest you can hand in exams and midterms and stuff is like right at the hour mark. No one ever finishes then, but he's always the first one to finish. So every time I see him leave, I'm like, did he just give up on life? Like that's how I see him. Like that's my point of view of him, right? Like he doesn't take notes. Like like isn't journalism writing and stuff? So he never takes notes. I don't know if he does the work. I don't know if he studies. And he always leaves the exams as like the first person, but then he's always talking about how like he didn't do well or like he did well enough to pass. You know what I mean? Like he's not like an 80s student. So as soon as he told me journalism, like there's no way. Like journalism, you're writing articles and stuff, right? Like I don't know the details of it, but like like my idea of journalism is just you're writing, right? You're just writing articles and stuff. And like right away, that's what struck me. I'm like, you wanted to journalism, and I've never seen you write in my life. Yeah, that's my rant on that guy. The other guy, okay. I told my brother this. Okay, so first year. Okay, picture this. Me 2 years ago, first year, walked into the university, and my first class was a photography class, and the first person I met was this guy that I'm going to explain to you right now. So, I had a couple classes with him, but, like, we never talked. Like, every time I was around him, it was just really awkward. And, yeah, it's just, like, I can't communicate with him when... It's the same thing with the prof, you know what I mean? Like, they look me in the eyes, and then, like, I lose all train of thought, and I can't communicate, and I was just like, stop staring at my soul! Like, jeez! Yeah, so I've never got a chance to actually communicate properly with this guy, and he's always with his other friends. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about this guy, but like we're always uncomfortable being near each other. I just don't know why. I don't know if he feels that way, but I feel like he feels that way. And I'm probably the one making him feel uncomfortable. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. Like I'm weird. So I got put into the group with this guy, okay? And right away, because we're in a circle, writing down. I told everybody, I'm like, okay, the fastest way to get everyone to communicate is that I'll send a mass email so that we're all in a circle, passing around my notebook, writing, all your contact information, and I don't know if he ever looked me in the eyes once. He never looked directly at me. Like he's avoiding me. Like that's how it felt. And I was like, I make him feel so uncomfortable. I feel so stupid. I don't know. Maybe I can communicate. You know what I should do? Because I never have anything to talk about with these people. Like I know what they're like. So remember I told you I stalked people ahead of time. So I stalked the one guy and I found out he was, he's a YouTube. Oh, I forgot to mention he's a YouTuber. Like I never said that, but I'm like I like his content. But this guy that I'm talking about now, he's a musician, so I know he likes doing band work, and he likes he's a bass player. Okay, that's a very key point. Like I keep finding a lot of coincidences, right? It's like I'm in these classes and I keep hearing different things. Like I told you with the media impact class, I kept hearing YouTube, and then I don't know, like I keep hearing things like that, right? So he's a bass player. At least I'm pretty sure he's a bass player. Don't don't quote me on that. Quote me on that. I can't talk. Yeah, he's a bass player, and the only other bass player I knew was my friend from high school, and I don't know if we're close. Oh, I have another story with her too, okay? But I'll tell that another time. He's a bass player, so all I know about bass is what I knew from my friend, and I know like my two favorite instruments are violin and bass. So he had to be a bass player. I should talk to him. I should talk to him about music and stuff because I don't know, like I don't have a good feel for his personality yet, and I don't know what he's like. All I know is that he's a musician. I don't like his music. Or like he's I don't know if it's his style of music, but they're an indie band, but I don't know if I like it. But I'll be supportive. um, yeah, maybe I should talk to him about like bass, because I remember he was in our documentary class, and I think he was looking for he wants to buy a new bass, so he's looking at prices and stuff, and they were talking about like brands and stuff. So I don't know, maybe I should talk to him about that to get his mind off of the whole awkward situation. But I don't know if I want to know the answer to that, so I don't know. I have to find a way to make the atmosphere more comfortable. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about those two. I don't know how this debate group's gonna go. I already told them I can't argue. Like the one guy who knows me knows I can't argue, because when we had that assignment, we had people who could work on the debate and then people who could actually say it, right? So I worked on the whole written part of what they were gonna say, and then they were the ones to say it, because it's a hell ton of people to argue your point to. Oh, another thing too. Um, the videography class, our second assignment, we have to pitch an idea in front of the class. And I was like, this is like, I'm comparing this to the debate where you have to win people over, right? Like, you have to convince people, like, your idea is, like, the best idea in the world. You know what I mean? Because for videography, we're doing PSAs, and I don't want to do those typical PSAs. It has to be something unique to me. Like, I don't know, like, I don't want to do, like, like texting and driving, or gang violence, or school stress, or like, sorry, I don't know what to name off the top of my head, but I don't want to do those ones. And I want, like, when you pitch the idea, you have to be able to get two other people to work with you, right? So you have to pitch the idea good enough that you'll get group members. So I don't know how that's gonna go. um yeah, and then yeah, we went from the debate to that. Okay, and then the last class I was talking about was coding. So, um, oh, the guy who sits in front of me, um, uh, um, so I find that usually, people sit in, like, I don't want to say cliques, but they sit in their groups, right? There's people that know other people, and they always sit together. And that for me, like, some classes, there's like, I don't know, like, people don't generally like to sit next to me. So I usually have like a whole row of chairs for myself. But I'm sitting in this web design class, right? The coding class. And the guy walks in, and I was like, I've stalked you already. We talked the other day. Please come sit beside me. Please come sit beside me, please. I want to know more about you. So, like, I'm praying in my head. I'm like, sit beside me. Like, don't go sit in the back. Don't go, sit right beside me. Like, I want to understand. Like, I just want to feel more comfortable in a class for once. And then he comes and sits beside me, and I didn't have to say anything or do anything, and he came to sit with me. Well, not with me, like, maybe he's like one seat over, but he's close enough. Okay, so now he's within ear range, right? So my other friend, so she's friends with the bass guy and all his friends. So she comes to sit beside me, and she has classes in common with me and the guy, right? So I'm like, okay, he's within ear range. I'm gonna try and talk about these classes and see if I can get him to talk, right, without me having to face him. And so we started talking about the photography class, and I didn't realize my friend was actually really stressed for that class. So then it actually became a very serious conversation. And so as it was getting like more and more serious, he chimes in, and I was like, yes. I'm like 4 for 4 now. Yeah, he chimes in, and he's like, oh, are you talking about this class and stuff? It's like, I had to reiterate that I'm like, we're in these classes together. And he's like, oh yeah. Yeah, but he starts talking about it and stuff. And then we talk about media impact. He's in that class too. And then we talk about videography and everything, and I was like, yay, we're talking. I don't know, like it was so easy, and like I got him to talk without me needing to get it, like to talk straight to him. And then while we're taking the notes and stuff, there's another person that walks in late that comes to sit beside him, and he keeps asking them coding questions, and the person's like, I don't know, and I'm like, I'm sitting right beside you, ask me, I can answer your questions, because he's asking some very simple questions, and I'm like, I could explain it to you if you would turn and look at me. He never does, by the way, so I'm like, you tell, like I'm thinking back to that Friday night, or that day we talked, right? Because he told me, like, if I ever need anything, to ask him for help, and I'm like, you're not doing the same. Like, I don't know if I want to reciprocate back. um, yeah, we don't. Yeah, that was coding. Is that it now? I think I'm done. Oh, um, I feel like. Yeah, like I don't know how I'm feeling at all right now. There's so much I had to process. Like, there's a lot of new people in my life now. um, Maybe I should chat him up about his YouTube channel. I want to ask him how he started, because I think his channel started in 2011, and that's the same time my channel started. But I didn't start posting till now, and he's been posting since like way back then. I should talk to him about stuff. I should talk to people. I don't know why. I don't. It's just that it's uncomfortable for me, because then, I know so much about one person and they don't know anything about me. But oh, like when I was talking to him that night, I wanted to tell him, like, after I told him I know, I wanted to tell him that, um like, I heard about the pronouns, like, I've seen your videos, like, I wanted to tell him that, but I couldn't, because I'm like, that would come off really stalkerish, wouldn't it? It's like like, I wouldn't want someone coming up to me and telling me, like, I watch your videos, like, I know everything about you, like, I don't know how I would feel, like, so I'm keeping that to myself. But I want him to know, like, I'm not, like, if you need anything, I'm right here. um but he doesn't come near me unless I'm with someone else, so I'm not approachable, apparently. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to rant about school. Like, I don't know how I'm feeling, because with all the assignments, like, I don't know if it's stress, but like I just don't know how I feel. I really don't. Oh, for videography, I told you we had to we have to film something, right? But when you film, you have to start off with the storyboards and stuff. So right off the bat, since I only had a week, I was editing the diss track season, right? And my mind wasn't on the assignment, and I didn't have a good idea when I handed it in, so I have to redo it. Like, okay, so the storyboard's about like 8 boxes on the page, right? So, like, but when you do a storyboard, it's going to be more than one page, right? But I didn't have the time or the desire to do more than one page. I'm like, I'm just going to do a simple one and see what he says. And when I went into that videography class, everyone was doing 2-3 pages, and I'm just like, I'm not going to. I was like, don't make me, please don't make me. So I handed in like that, knowing very well that he's gonna yell at me later. So then today he came to check and give us feedback on it, and he wanted to talk to me first, and I told him I'm willing to wait till everybody's gone, and then you can give me my feedback. Like, I'd like to go last. Like, save me for last, please. If you're gonna yell at me, I don't want everyone to be in earshot, and like, like. So I did, like, I thought he would be unreasonable, but he's very reasonable for a prof. Like, I think I like him more today. Like, I told you, it's too early to judge the profs yet based on how they are. I don't know if he's a strict marker either. I just know that he likes simplistic stuff. But um, he gave me some more stuff that needs to be added. There's the idea needs to be tweaked, but I'm not 110% on the idea yet. So I don't know. Like the project, you have to film somebody doing something. So one of the examples he gave us was like someone walks through a park and gets sees a squirrel and gets offered a smoke, and then it ends. It's like a walk through the park, right? You're following the character going doing something or interacting somehow, but you don't want another person in there because we're trying to make it as simplistic as possible to practice editing. So my idea um I'd say it's simplistic, but there's I don't know. I need so much help. My first idea when he was explaining it was, okay, I thought like you have to figure out who your actors are, right? So I'm like, if I need someone to film, I'm like, I'll grab my brother, right? And his friends really like to play basketball. So I'm like, maybe I'll do a sequence of of them like, like trying to get a basket. But then I texted my brother, and I'm like, would you like to be in my film? And I know right away he's uncomfortable being in front of a camera because he always acts differently. I don't know why, but all these people who are around me always like when they hear cops or they hear cameras, they're just like they go crazy. So my brother's like, I don't want to be in it, and I'm like, okay, do you have any hot friends? Because I need a hot actor to And then he's like, nah, I had like no, and I was like, great. So then, my second idea was maybe I'll get a friend, and I'll have it like someone buying something from a vending machine and getting late for class, or something like that. Something simple, right? Where like something goes wrong with the vending machine, and like that seems boring too. So then I go and complain to my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm stressing out, and like, give me an idea. Like I had like like simple ideas like that is stuff we overlook. So I was like, my mom probably could figure one out. And she gave me an idea really quickly. So the idea she gave me was like someone missing the bus and being late for school. And I was like, brilliant. And then when I finished it, I was like, ah, shit, like I can't film this. Right? Because some of the scenes are on the bus, and I'm like, there's no way a busload of people are gonna stop and let me film. So I was like, frig. So he talked to me about that. So now I'm thinking maybe, yeah, I talked to my other brother, and I was like, do you have a friend who drives? We can, instead of a bus, we'll make it a car. And he said, yeah, so maybe his friend can film for me. So I don't know. I've never met the friend, so I don't know his impression of me is going to be. But, yeah, either I'm going to get him to help me, or I have to ask my best friend, but then she's always busy. She works so many jobs, and she's been going on dates, and then she has lots of school stuff to do, so yeah, I'm stressing over that. So he didn't yell at me. I was assuming that my videography teacher was gonna yell at me and tell me it was crap, but he said like he said all I had to do was switch that one scene, but I have to redo the whole thing to tweak it. And I was like, great. And he's giving me till Saturday night, so I should work on that. But I need to rant first because I felt like pure trash. Like the whole week I felt like crying, but I haven't cried yet, so I don't know. And I noticed too this week, I made a wish on my birthday, but I hope it comes true. But so far it doesn't look like it. But I haven't been able to sleep, and I hope I'm not getting sick. Okay, I can't get sick. So I've been sneezing a lot. I don't know what the hell. Like my allergies are acting up worse than usual. So you're in a classroom and it's just the prof talking. The room's like pitch quiet, like a pin could have dropped. And then you have me needing to like sneeze my guts out because of the rooms or whatever. So yeah, so I'm like sneezing like hell, and it's eased up now. But like I don't know why I keep sneezing. And what was it? Where was it going with this? Yeah, I've been sneezing. It just and oh my goodness, yeah, I haven't been able to sleep because like okay, I've been sneezing, but that doesn't affect how like that's only during the day. When it's at night, I'm not sneezing anymore. And I can't sleep, and it's not because I have like school and like that stress on my mind. Like I know for sure like that's not my mind when I fall asleep. It's just that when I sleep I keep having nightmares, and I don't want to start my day off like that. I don't know why I keep having nightmares, and it's like the kind that I can't talk to anybody about. Like, you know, there's certain things you just like you want to tell somebody, but you know like as soon as they know like like you tell them something, and once you tell them like they changes their perception of you like right away. So there's things like I can't discuss with my mom and dad because it would piss them off to no end. And then I can't discuss it with my best friend because she's already got a lot on her plate. So I'm over here and I need to rant. There's like, but I wonder if everybody has like a secret they keep that they can't tell anyone. Like I could like if I'm close with you, I can tell you, but like maybe I will. You know, I'm just gonna say it. I might as well. Someone's gonna watch this. So I've been having a lot of okay. Before I get to the nightmares, that whole like week, I haven't had it in a couple days, but that whole week I've been doing things that I don't want to do. So um I wanted to work on editing the video and maybe going out more, like doing more things that I want. So my birthday wish was to do things I want, because a lot of the time I'm doing things other people want to please other people, and I'm sacrificing my own well-being and happiness. So it's like I want to change that, but I still feel like I'm doing things for other people. So like I have a responsibility to my parents, right? And I don't like doing the things they tell me to do. Like my mom would drive. My mom is the type of person where she can't go anywhere without somebody with her. She doesn't like going anywhere alone. And I can understand that, but like mom, like I have other things to do. Drag me everywhere. Um, so she'll take me to like the store and stuff, but like my mind's not on shopping or anything. My mind's like I want to edit. I want to get my opinion out. I want to do so many other things. You know, like I started the channel with like the coloring thing. That video took me the whole day because my camera decided to act like a shit. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah. So the diss track season video, like if I'm gonna record my opinion, I'm probably gonna do it on my laptop, because on my camera we set the settings a specific way for photography, and I don't want to go messing around with that and then I mess up my assignment. So that's gonna be hell. Um, um, what was I saying? I'm so bad at this. Um, I'm sorry, I'm wasting like 10 seconds. Okay, um, I was talking about the nightmare. Oh, so yeah, I've been doing a lot of things where they're not things I want to do, right? I'm doing things like I don't want to do, like things like I don't necessarily need to be there to do. So I've been getting like I spent a lot of time going places with my mom, and then my dad needs a lot of help. So then he uses my computer a lot. So then we end up spending hours with him because he can't like. I'm glad I have a Mac though, because I can zoom in, but like it takes him so long to go through something. Um, I've been having to, like, there's so many, like, I can't even like backtrack because there's so many things where like I'm in a situation where there's like forces working against me. Like if I want to work on the video, it's like no, you should be doing something else, and it's something like I don't want to do. So then I've been getting a lot of nightmares, and I don't know why I've been getting the nightmares are about rape. So I don't know, like that in itself is very disturbing, but like I'm like I've never experienced something like that, but after you have so many nightmares about it, you feel like you've gone through it. So, the symbolism for it, like, is doing things against your will. And then once that clicked in my brain, I am doing a lot of things against my will. Like my profs are making me do assignments that I could, like I need to learn at my own pace. I can't do, like, I'm doing things against my will. So I don't know if the nightmares are gonna stop, but I haven't been able to sleep. Like I'm getting the minimum, but I'm not getting, like, you're more tired when you get back up, like than when you went to sleep. Yeah. Talked about school and I talked about that. Like I can't discuss that with my mom because my mom's gonna be like, "Have you been through that?" And I'm gonna be like, "No, I just." Oh, another. Okay, so it doesn't help that after I get up from those nightmares, I go downstairs and my mom's watching those like those back in the day Indian movies where like those are like the concepts, right? The woman's always getting raped, the star boy is always alive. um, like the star boy is always gonna get like shot, stabbed 50 times. He's still alive for some reason. He's not gonna die. Like I don't know. I hate those old movies. I hate watching them. I hate being near them because they always have the same negative themes with women. Like women are always getting domestically abused, or they're getting raped, or they're committing suicide, or they can't work. Like it's just it makes me so yeah, so I hate watching them. I don't know why my mom likes watching it so much, but like that didn't help, right? You wake up. Imagine you're in my position where you wake up after having a nightmare about something you've never experienced, then you go downstairs and you just like it's happening again and you're awake now. Oh my god. But yeah, it hasn't gone away. I need something to take my mind off of everything. Like I don't want to put the video up with like stress infused into the editing. You know what I mean? Like you can tell how someone felt when they edited something. And yeah, right now I don't know how I feel. um yeah, you can see like I'm so stressed. I haven't even taken out my iPod yet. Um but like the one thing that I've been really thinking about is like the way I'm perceived by people, right? Because I don't know how people see me. Because I know a lot of people stare at me, and I know a lot of people avoid me. A lot of people do weird things when they're around me, right? So I don't know how people are perceiving me. And I wonder about my program too, because digital communications is like coding, law, well, maybe not law. Like right now, I'm thinking it as like two things. I'm thinking of it as like I either gonna create websites or I'm going to. Oh, sorry, I'm shaking. Or I'm going to make films, right? And like I don't know where I'm going with this because when I started, like my what I want to do is I want to film things, right? Film things that are meaningful to me. And what I really like to watch is like music videos and short films and um like those kinds of things, right? They're not long. Sorry, my camera keeps cutting off. Anyways, yeah, I was saying that I don't want to do anything super long and stuff, so I don't know where I'm going with what I'm doing. Like I know I can do Like I can edit and I can create websites and stuff, but I don't know, like it's not what I, like I don't have the desire to, like, it doesn't make me happy, you know what I mean? Like right now I'm making films for the sake of making films. I'm not making films about things I like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, I'm sorry for taking up so much time. I've ranted long enough, but I hope um, you got something out of that. Yeah, the diss track season video is going to be late. I'm so sorry. I don't know if I'm gonna tweet anything after that, but like that's that's it. You just have to wait for those videos unless I feel compelled to do another um vlog. So oh, I'm sorry about the lighting, by the way. We're in my room again, if you haven't noticed. I have nowhere else to film. Like, I'm not comfortable talking anywhere else. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. I don't think I have anything else to say, and I might as well not ramble on anymore. So, that was my first week of school, and editing and everything. Oh, um, my necklace came this week. It's a light bulb. I hope carrying this around gives me like good ideas. This better bring me good ideas. I really like I have half-ass ideas. Like I don't have anything that could really help me with school, but like this thing's so beautiful. It lights up, but I can't light it up because I'm holding it takes two hands. But yeah. Hopefully, I get some sleep. Assignments go well. Get some ideas. Yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. The world looks like it's in chaos right now, but this is my story. So, bye. One more thing I forgot to mention. I talk too much. Okay, since the video's so long, I'm going to cut, or like I'm not gonna cut. There's no editing. Okay, I'm just putting they're all the videos because I don't know what my phone's doing. It doesn't put them all together. But I have to put all the videos into one file because right now they're all separate. But there's no editing. Okay. And the other thing too, I forgot to mention about my friend, the one I was talking about that I met in web photography. In photography, the one friend I knew, and then the other girl I was talking about, like the one friend I knew, I forgot to mention that this morning in photography class, she told me, or not this morning, what's today? Today's Friday. I'm talking about yesterday. She showed me her YouTube channel. I'm like, damn, I was trying to look for it and I couldn't stalk her either. And her YouTube channel is really hidden. Like, I need to find this. I should probably just ask her, but yeah, that's why I forgot to mention. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. Things gonna cut.